Hey everybody, so today we're going to be reinstalling this new transmission into the bus. Just got it rebuilt. It was all stock when we started. It would pop out of fourth gear, third gear. It was almost impossible to find. So a lot of the things in there were really worn down. Our ring and pinion was almost ready to go. So we got it rebuilt. We put a 457 ring and pinion in here. So hopefully that'll help us kind of stretch our legs out on the highway. So before, stock these will go 55, 60 miles an hour tops. So now we should be lucky to push maybe 80, 75, 80 comfortably. Now I can keep up with everybody. I don't have to have the semi trucks, flying by me, having me feel bad. So what we're gonna start doing, when you get them rebuilt, a lot of times people will they'll drop them off to you with no oil. You gotta make sure when you do that, you make sure you put the oil. So I'm gonna use, I say 80, 90 in here. There's a big debate on what weight people like to use, what kind of oil. It doesn't really matter to me. It's not like I'm not doing anything crazy. So these will normally take 2.5 quarts to be full. So now we're going to actually fill it up with the gear oil. So before you start, you want to make sure your drain plug's in. That's underneath the bell housing here. I'm not going to pick it up because it's kind of heavy. But so this is gonna be 17 millimeter. I'm gonna get this off. I already have mine loose, but probably gonna break it loose. If it's been a while since it's been on. Yeah, one thing you can get from the store is one of these little pumps here. When it's out, you can have it on its side. You can rotate it, but it's just extra work that I don't really feel like doing. So yeah, like I said, it takes about 2.5 quarts of this gear oil. So you want to make sure you get it nice in there. And then when you're coming up to when it's full, the way to test it is you stick your finger in right past the threads, and you kind of tilt your finger down. And if the tip of your finger is wet, you know that it's full. It'll start to come out a little bit, but that's your main indicator that it's full. So yeah, let's get this in here. So our thing broke. So luckily we can just turn this on its side, fill it up this way. Yeah, this is the fun part. This is what we live for. All right, so we got about 2.5 plus or minus a little bit quarts of this oil in here. So let's flip it over on its side and see where the level's sitting at. Looks like still need a little bit more. So flip it back. Get the rest of it. All right, yep, so I'm talking about, so once we got our hand in there, you can see it's full. So we can go ahead and get our fill plug back in. And there's definitely a torque for this, torque for everything. I don't know off the top of my head, I'll have to look it up later. So you don't really need it too tight. It's just a fill plug. It's not like there's any pressure behind it or anything like that. So once you got it a little bit past snug, you should be fine. So by my own mistake, I ordered the wrong throwout bearing. So for now we're gonna install it without it, and then I'll put that in later. But generally, you'd have the throwout bearing here, but we'll worry about that later. So now we're gonna go ahead and get this wheeled underneath and get everything positioned up so we can get everything lined up right and get it mounted. Shouldn't take too much time. Just give it a shot. All right, so before we get it wheeled in underneath there, we're gonna go ahead and get the starter back on. Alright, so you want to make sure it's in the right position. Obviously, you know, your solenoid up in the top left. What is it? 10 o'clock? Alright, so you want to get it over the stud here. You want to get your nut. Screw that on. And that's what'll hold it. And we don't really have to worry about the top just yet. We'll get that in when we get the engine on. But as long as we can get the starter at least mounted, because it's a lot easier to do here than it is trying to get and fit up underneath by the tire and get everything out of the way. The heater boxes and all that, it just becomes more of a pain than it needs to be. All right, so now we got that on, we can go ahead and wheel it under, get everything in position, and we should be able to get in there, and it shouldn't take too long. Okay, so we're gonna wheel it in. We're gonna make sure we move these CV axles out of the way. Make sure our heater tubes are out of the way. We're gonna get the front of the transmission in and aligned with this shift coupler back here. We're gonna make sure that the mounts get onto the tranny mount properly, get everything bolted in and at least snugged up for now, so we can go ahead and connect the starter and reattach the axles and all that. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get it wheeled in and get everything as lined up as we can, and then come under and check and make sure. And we're gonna try to get in as quick as we can. Let's check it out. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and get this rolled under, make sure we clear everything out of the way. Try to get it lined up as close as we can, and then we can get under there and make our fine adjustments. After we get a little bit closer, we can see it's kind of a pain because, you know, it's hard to do it by yourself because you got to get that front of it lined in there just perfectly. So it's always good to have a helper when you do stuff like this, but sometimes you're on your own. Yeah. We'll go ahead and move the axles out of the way. Raise it up a little bit. All right, so now we got it kind of in place. We're gonna go ahead and go up front underneath and make sure we can get everything lined up just right. So we should be able to slide it in there nice and easy and have it be as little headache as possible. So let's go check it out. All right, so we got it relatively in place. Looks like I need to slide it a little bit more forward on our lift here. So we've got everything we needed else out of the way, so that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and slide out and slide it forward a little bit on the lift. All right, so we're real close to where we need to be. Actually, almost got it. Wow. It actually lined up perfectly. That never happens. Right, so now what we need to do is go up front and move the shifter around a little bit so we can get our shift coupler in the proper position to go on, and then we can go ahead and tighten our grub screw, get everything good, and then we can get the bolts in for the mount, and then we can start attaching all the little things: clutch cable, grounding strap, starter wires, and that will be it. After that, I have some new CV axle boots in the mail, so those will go on later. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this shift coupler attached properly. All right, man, so you can go ahead and throw it in third for me, nice and slow, please. So right now we're having someone else put it in third gear, so perfect, so that we can push a shift coupler over, and then we can go ahead and attach our, I know it's kind of dark, our little grub screw in there. Make sure you get some safety wire or something in there to tie it up, because if this thing comes undone and you lose it, you're not gonna be able to shift gears very well at all. Actually, but for now we're just gonna get it on there. I'm gonna go ahead and button up everything else later. But yeah, we got our bolts in, everything's mounted, so we're gonna go ahead and tighten these up, and then we're gonna attach our clutch cable, our grounding strap like I said, and our electrical for the starter, and that will be it. And then once we get the new CV axle boots, we'll get that on, and then we can attach those and then get the engine put in and everything will be good. So luckily for everyone, This is not a very hard install, so this video should be a lot shorter than my previous 18-20 minutes. So at least we can help some of y'all stick around a little bit. Okay, now that we have the shift coupler attached, we can go ahead and tighten up our trans mounting bolts. Now that we've got the shift coupler installed and our grub screw tightened up, we can go ahead and get our trans mounting bolts tightened. So we're gonna go ahead and get these. I already did this one, but we're gonna go ahead and check it again just to be safe. So tight, good. The other side, real quick. Snug. Nice and tight. There we go. So that's the main part of the mounting, right? So without the CV axles attached, without the engine attached, and the mustache bar on, it's obviously going to sag. So what we're going to want to do when we're just having it chilling like this while we're waiting for parts is we're going to slide this lift out, and we're going to put a small jack set underneath to support it, so that we're not putting all this weight on this rubber bushing in here and bending things the way they need to be bent. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this lift out now and get the jack underneath, so I can go ahead and get the grounding strap attached, get our electrical for our reverse light to our reverse light switch, and our clutch cable like we said before, and all the wiring for the starter. Yeah, so let's get that done. It shouldn't take 1 second. Alright, so now that we have everything up front connected, our shift coupler and our trans mount, we can go ahead and we're going to pull this lift out. We're going to get our jack underneath it so we can have the belt housing supported, and I'll have everything leaning up on the front. Then we're going to go ahead and get everything connected, grounding strap, clutch cable, electrical for the starter. I've probably said that 30 times by now, but that's okay. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and lower this a little bit. There we go. And slide it straight out. Now we are resting on the belt housing. Perfect. Just to keep it from being jacked up, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go up under there and get this under, and then I'm gonna pull this out the rest of the way so it doesn't just drop hard. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and slide this jack underneath, somewhere we can kind of get some good support on it. So we got a nice little lift under here. Looks good. And then, like I said, we're gonna go slide that lift the rest of the way out, and it will hang on the jack itself, and then we go ahead and start getting everything connected. So let's go up front or out back, tech. All right, so let's go ahead and get this out. Yep, just like that. Later. And then we're gonna go ahead and reposition this real quick. Pick it up, slide it forward, down, and just like that, it's nice and supported. It's not gonna fall. It's not leaning on anything. So now we can go ahead and have our unobstructed access to reconnect everything that we need to. All right, so like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get this clutch cable mounted up here. So let me take these off. So it's out of here, and that is a 1/2, in case anyone's curious. Well, going. I'm sure, but anyways, so get that on. So yeah, what this does is it kind of puts a little bit of drag on your clutch cable, right? So when you step on the clutch and it pulls everything, it doesn't give that feeling of like bouncing. It's kind of strange, but it kind of makes everything a little bit more smooth. So it's just kind of a pain because it's under some tension. So it's it's kind of hard to get on. This is where we can cut some of this out. We'll get it, we'll get it. This is more of a pain in the ass than myself. There we go. Okay, so after minutes of fumbling, we finally got it. At least one of them. Let's see if we can get some on. Alright, looking good. Get it on there. Look at this. Alright, let's get that nice and snug. Put the one on top real quick. Alright, now nice and snug in there. We can go ahead and get our clutch cable. That's where I need it. So I'm gonna have to come up around the back to get this done. This is a good angle from down here. So these are little tricks you learn. Kind of got the screwdriver up here since I don't have the throw-out bearing like I said. This is gonna help me get this back enough so I can get this in here. And then we're gonna go ahead and get this mounted back on. At least just enough for now so that everything's mounted up. Once we get the throw-out bearing in, then we can come back and adjust the clutch. So this isn't gonna be its final position. So I know some people are probably gonna tell me something, but that's okay. So once you got that, we can go ahead and screwdriver. So that brings our clutch pedal back forward. In the front, get our accelerator cable out of the way, and then we're gonna go back up front on the passenger side right now and get the grounding strap attached on here. And then we are done. Thank goodness. So yeah, let's go up there and check it out. All right, so yeah, now we're going to attach our grounding strap here. So we're gonna go ahead and pick this spot here for it. So I brought a screwdriver and a wire brush because we had this painted. So we want to make sure that we have a nice clean mating surface for that grounding strap so we can get a good ground on it. We don't want to be sitting on paint because we all know that that's not going to work very well for us. So we can go ahead and check this off. Second. There we go. Alright. So take this. Put this on here. Like so. And get our nut back on. Or actually, yep. Nice and clean under there. So just to be safe, we'll give it a quick little brush, make sure it's clean. Paint where we need it to be. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so get that washer back on. We get our strap on. Get our nut back in place. Yep, so we can get our nut back on. Get it threaded on there. Nice and tight in there. So now we got our good ground. And that is it. So now the next step would be to get our axles back reattached, and then we can go ahead and bring our engine in to get mounted. But this is going to help me a lot, because now when I'm driving on the freeway and, you know, just around town, one, it'll help, you know, keep my engine RPM down, but two, it'll help me keep up with the speeds of the cars on the freeway. And, you know, everyone's been in that situation when they're driving and someone's going 50, 55 on the freeway and you gotta swerve around them and this and that. You know, not everyone's paying attention nowadays. So this, in addition to being very convenient and helpful, the fact that I can get places faster, it'll also be a little bit safer to drive because we'll be going the correct highway speed. So, you know, I'm real happy to get this in here. Now, once we get this in and the engine in, we're gonna go and take her on a little camping trip, and, you know, y'all will definitely see some pictures and videos from that once we get going. Alright guys, so we actually just got the transmission in. So like I said, we're still waiting on the throwout bearing to come in. My mistake, I ordered the wrong one. That's a story for another time. Anyway, so as soon as we get the throwout bearing in, we can go ahead and we're going to change our CV axle boots because they've been spewing their grease all over the place, and it's time for new ones anyways. But after that, we can come over here and take a look. This is going to be the engine that we're putting into the bus. This used to be in my Beetle. This is a 1955 stroker. It used to be, like I said, it used to be in the Beetle. This is going to give me a little bit of extra power to be able to go up hills, you know, with the big camper and, you know, the bed inside and all that. For me, it's a lot better to have, you know, one, that more peace of mind, and two, to be able to get up and go on the highway when I need to get up a hill, you know, with all the stuff, with the camping stuff and whatever we got in there. But, you know, now I'd like to say, you know, thank you all for watching. You know, this is the first time I've done a transmission install, so if y'all have any suggestions or anything, you know, that I could do better, that we could do better here, please let me know. I would love to hear it. Leave a comment, however you say it. And for the quality of this video, actually, we got some friends of mine over here that are helping me film, because before all I had was my little GoPro on a tripod. So hopefully the quality of these videos will stay a lot better than just a little point and shoot and kind of looking at my hands, kind of talking. I want to be able to get more interactive and kind of show y'all and have, you know, all these different angles and things like that. So once again, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and catch us in the next one when we get everything back in here.
Alright. How are you, buddy?
Okay, look at some more time. Oh god, okay.
Well, we lost the sun, so...
Yep, so sorry.
Speak a little bit louder.
A little bit louder?
Yeah, that way it'll be easier to mess with the audio later.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're doing great.
So anyway.
So anyways, I'm changing out!
I'm putting the fucking on.
Hey guys, it's me, Charlie!
And then we'll do like a hard cut to you being like...
Yeah, because like
"Alright,
this is going to take a
cool."
minute.
Yeah. And then you
Time
might
lapse.
go and like just stop it.
There we go. Two Brian's in the shot. Brian?
Dropped.
Brian?
I need the right extension, so I got it's all
There's gonna be a lot of music over this, so
That's okay.
like, just like quiet, and we're just like...
just staring at it.
Yeah,
I
you
don't know why
literally...
we weren't filming.
I was rolling, were you not?
No.
Ah.
Or no, wait, I am rolling.
Alright, cool.
So that was good.
Then we got it.
Alright, sick.
Moving on.
We're gonna go up front and see if we can move it around a little bit better.
Too much?
Yeah, way too much.
It's kind of weird to be a star. I never had so many cameras on me at once. Besides that time I went to go to this room with the couch in it. I don't know what that was about, but felt uncomfortable.
You want to make
after.
$5,000 to $6,000 a day?
Speaking of rolling.
Speaking of rolling, Molly is good for you.